Take the car back to Japan. Take it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we're all about value adding content for you to live an authentic and fulfilled life, specifically here in Africa. So this video has been long awaited. A lot of people have been asking about information about how this process works, and actually even before I got my car. So this video will break down each and every step. So specifically, we're gonna go through the import process, importing from Japan. I didn't import from where I'm from, Canada, just simply because we drive on the other side of the road and it's already chaotic enough driving in Kampala. I didn't want to add not being able to see blind spots and God knows what and the confusion of it all. So I chose to order from Japan. So we'll go through the process of ordering from there, the website I used to contact, dealing with the brokers here who would help me bring in the car from the Mombasa port to Uganda. All of the nitty gritty we'll get into right now. So a little bit of a disclaimer, this isn't going to be a car reveal type of thing. I wouldn't even say paranoid. I just prefer to keep my things to me. Technically speaking, just like how you guys don't know where I live, I don't think it's really necessary to put out there what I drive and like show the car. That's pretty irrelevant. I think most of the value from this video is going to be about the price point, the difference between the taxes and the price of the car, any additional fees I had to pay, etc. So just putting it out there that is the main point of this, just so that in comments, just in case anyone asks, that's the answer to that. All right, all my notes are here on my computer. Like I said, it was a process, so if you see me looking down, just keep that in mind. All right, so we'll start back, rewind to January 2024, and that's when I made the initial payment for my car to the Japanese auctioneers that I was buying it from. So I used respectmotors.com. Highly recommend. Super professional. I just feel like you need to go in well prepared. My dad recommended the site. I think he'd used them before, or he'd used some similar sites as that because he sent me like 3. I liked them because I'd been stalking their site for a long time to see the types of cars I wanted, what was in my price point, and what I was willing to pay. My initial budget was $10,000 to $12,000 max. We'll get a little bit more into that later, but that was my max budget. So I was looking at cars now that was half of that because my understanding was taxes would be 105% of the value of your car. So I was on there looking at what the value of the car was, and then you have to consider importing it as well. For some odd reason, to this day, I don't understand, but we have to pay taxes on CIF, which is cost, insurance, and freight. So you'll see the value of the car on there. Then you have to ask them what the CIF is. And then from there, you times it by 105. It's just plain robbery. When people ask me why I haven't had a car for the last 3 years, when I came from Canada, where you can finance a car for its true value with maybe additional tax of at most 13%, but I don't even know if that's how much we pay in actual taxes there for a vehicle. Child, now you'll know by the end of this video. Anywho, so I paid the car with CIF included January 28th. So the actual value of my car was like $3,000 or something like that. With CIF inclusive, it was $5,910. So now that includes everything that they're going to ship at that price. They send it to Mombasa with all of that included. The only other additional cost at this point that I had to pay for was transfer fees from the bank to transfer the dollars to Japan. So you had to pay in USD. Keep that in mind because it's various different currencies you have to pay in for you to be able to drive your car when you import it. So in total, at this point, I've paid 22.162 million shillings. That was at January 28th, like I said. Then I'll go more in depth about the taxes, but I just put a note here that in dollars, the taxes ended up being $6,518.69. So I think if you do the math, it's roughly around 105%. We'll get into the story of the whole tax situation in the next part. So before I break down the whole Japanese process, I was looking at 3 different cars. The car that I got, I was looking at a Mark X, and I was looking at Toyota Premio. So a Mark X is a Toyota as well. I had a Toyota Corolla when I was younger. It was my first ever car when I was like 16, I think. Yeah, whenever you can, yeah, driving age of Canada. And I had that car till I was like, for like 8 years. It was a good car. It was amazing on fuel. It was a perfect size. It was small, but weirdly enough, fit a lot of different things in it. So I just was like, Toyotas are like, I used to say this is so bad, but I was like, Toyotas are like cockroaches. They'll never die. You'll always be able to have your Toyota forever. Because I honestly ended up selling that car to somebody, and I had owned it for so long. The person who owned it before me, mind you, only had it for like 2 years, but it was a great car. That was my homie. That princess, that was what I used to call it. Homie. Anyway, back to the point of all of this. I was considering 3 different cars. So what I purchased and those 2. Those 2 were like more what I think people would say more the smarter purchase, because finding parts for Toyota is very cheap in comparison to other cars in Uganda. The maintenance and taking care of it is much easier, and they're common cars, so it's easier just even importing, which is something that the broker who was helping me through the process mentioned later. And he was like, if you had a Toyota, all of this would have been a lot faster. I was like, oh, well, I didn't know that. But nonetheless, it still would have gotten my car. I'm a very stubborn person, you guys. Once I have decided on something, I'm going for it. Will I keep it later? Who knows? But that's just how I am. So anywho, the price point of those cars was exactly the same as mine. Mine is slightly more of like a luxury vehicle. So technically speaking, I didn't understand. I was like, why would I pay the same price and I can get more closer to the car that I want in my life? So I opted for the other option. So that's just to explain price point. So when I was looking in this, and I'll share a link for you website-wise in a moment, when I was looking through all of this and doing all my research, keep in mind I looked for many different options, and then landed on what I ended up getting. So once you make a deposit on the website, respectmotors.com, I think the deposit has to be $1,500. That's when you actually have access to speak with your representative, your auctioneer, or whatever you call them. And so it was very interesting because I think most of the website, the people are Russian, but none of my business. I was like, as long as you get me what I need. I wanted a white car of what I got. Like, he kept sending me options, and he was sending me like red and black after some time. I think because some time had passed. And I was like, oh, I want the car that I want. I want the car that I want. Then there was a day where he sent me a white and then a black. And I think I was just frustrated. I was like, okay, bid on both. I figured if it wasn't what I wanted and you bid on both, then I've lost both. And then you'll just come to me tomorrow with a better option, right? Wrong. He was like, you've won the black one. I was like, but like, I wanted white. And I told you what I wanted. All the specs. I did my research of the cars. I knew all the specs, the year, everything. It was 10 years older from, 11 at the time. White. I knew the fuel consumption, the CCs, all of these things. I was like, I'm a car expert at this point. So you need to be very well versed at all the details. Give them every single detail. This part is extremely important later when you're paying taxes. And I will elaborate more as to why in a moment, but give them the exact details. If anything, send them a copy of what we would tax here to them, and it's very clear. So he was like, congratulations, you got this car. I was looking at it like, And honestly, their pictures don't do justice. If you can ask for more photos, that'd be great too. I got more photos after purchase, which was kind of weird. So like from January to when I got the car in May, I was just looking at the pictures like, I hope this is what I like. I hope this is what I even want. Child, I was so over it at that point. And I'm very particular. You guys know me. I'm extremely particular about my things and my life and everything. So anyway, sum it all up, he's told me that. And I was just like, okay, I guess. And he was like, but on the perks plus side, there's tires. They're giving you 4 sets of tires. I was like, okay, I guess, whatever. So it takes about a month, maybe 2, to ship from Japan to Mombasa. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the process between that time of the shipping and what you need to do next. So at this point, which is pretty much step 2 in my notes, is you're working with someone to bring in the car for you. You need someone who's going to be able to clear it and do all of that because you're not eligible to any of that. You're not at the ports. You know nothing about cars. So unless you know somebody. So in this case, I have an uncle, family friend, but he's my uncle. His brother has a mechanic shop here, deals with bringing in cars and such. But I think now, looking back at it, he hadn't done it in some time because he was like, oh, that's so wonderful. Like, you've trusted me for this process. He was amazing. And I think in hindsight now that I know more details, I should have asked a lot more questions, but he was really great and forthcoming with everything in the beginning. So for an additional 4M, so now we were at 22.162 million shillings. So for 4M, they will transport your car, insurance for the car, and handle all registration from Mombasa to Uganda. So they need to know the date the car is coming in. They need all the paperwork that Japan would give you. So they mail it over actually. Then they also give you, like in terms of the TIN number, has to be correct. These are all the things that I had to make sure I was doing. So I was really running around, but more so near the end when the car was about to arrive. So they also keep tabs with everything. When it arrives, where it is in Mombasa, all of that fun stuff. For 4M, which is a little bit over $1,000, so now we're at 26.162 million shillings before taxes. Now, this is future me. This is a mistake I made that I didn't really realize. I made an assumption based off of what a lot of people had told me, which really is a lot of what happens in Uganda and why this channel became what it is, of me giving you the correct information and then using that, but it's not easily found online, although now in hindsight I know it's available online. Once it was coming to the time of the car coming closer to its arrival in Mombasa, we had to sort out the taxes. I had assumed initially it was 105%. Now at this point I had been corrected. It's 105% on the CIF. So I was like, hey, fine. I did not budget for that. Remember in the beginning I said my budget was between $10,000 to $12,000. So I think I had maybe like half of what I was expected to pay in taxes. And I was really irritated at this point and like so over it. I was like, can this car just come at this point? What ended up happening was I got a phone call. I remember I was filming at Meat and Buns at Acacia, and they were like, this is how much the taxes you told you were gonna pay, but it's gonna actually be 9 million over. I was like, show me where. Show me where. I need to see it in paper. I like you guys. I'm a receipts person. I needed to see it written. How much, where, why. Especially dealing with URA, I was like, who, what, why, where? Show me. They were like, no, it's supposed to be 9 million, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but why? So it turns out the car that I purchased, which in hindsight, I didn't know, and this is why he told me later that if I had a Toyota, because it's so easy, common in and out, versus the kind of car I got, which doesn't make sense because I see my car everywhere. But anyway, I digress. He was like, it would have been easier for this to have been detected prior to. So literally, my car, model, make, all of that fun stuff, just the difference, mind you, by 3 letters. I don't even remember what the 3 letters were, but basically my car is more fuel efficient than its base model. So the base model versus the model apparently I had, which is also very apparently, I had was 3,000, or anyway, the $9 million difference, my 9 million shilling difference. I was like, are you mad? Why? I was like, why? Show me why. The amount of trips I took to URA. I was being very polite and nice though, because I was, what's that saying where they're like, honey attracts bees or whatever, like being nicer will get you further. So I was like, I'm frustrated. Internally, I want to kill you, but please explain to me how this makes sense. So my broker was like, honestly, let's just go to URA and have a chat with them to better understand what's going on. Because at this point now, my car's in Mombasa. Every day it's occurring costs to sit there. Because technically speaking, once it's in, within like a day or two, it clears, it goes. But if it sits there, I think over like 2 weeks or something, they're charging you. So I was like, I don't want to be charged. I already don't have any dollars left. Between what I thought I was going to pay, which I saved for, versus what I was so irritated. So anywho, so you have to be extremely clear. Send it like what the make and model is to your importer, whether it's Japan or wherever you want to import your car. Send that. Be clear. Be very, very clear. So what I should have done, and I'll leave it here on the screen, is there's actually a guide which has every single car, make, model known to man, I think, because it's 500 and some odd pages, on the URA website where you can actually find your car. So you don't need to do guesswork. There's no such thing as just do the calculation. Like, they've already done it for you. All you need to do is look up that is exactly the price, make, model, and everything to know the exact price and taxes. There's no guesswork. There's no guesswork needed. So what you need to do is go on the URA website. You'll go to import and export. From there, you'll see customs valuation. And then from there, you'll see the motor vehicle guide valuation thingamajigger. From there, just do Control F, find your car, make, model, year, year, make, model, any additions, any extra letters, any whatever. Look for the exact car, and the price is there. They update it, from what I understand, is every 2 months. That's what they told me, but just check even every month. Like, check when you purchase, check. Because I think I was going off of March. My car came in April. It could have been May. Who even knows? But you just need to consistently check, because there's literally, like I said, there's no guesswork needed. I would have definitely seen the difference. The Japanese auctioneer where I purchased it from, they obviously don't know your particular country. They just know they're shipping it to you. So you need to give them every single detail known to man. And your VIN is what determines all of this wahala of taxes and what the price is going to be and all of that fun stuff. So I learned my lesson is what I'm essentially trying to say. So now at this point, we've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, I ended up paying 2.8 in taxes. Please wait a second before you quote me. 2.8 additional in taxes. So not my full taxes. So what I ended up paying in taxes was 28.394 million shillings, and then I had to pay an additional 2.8 million in shillings, which now comes to a total of 50.557 million shillings for my car. Is this including the 4,000? No, then you add the 4,000 transport fee. So I'm sorry, 4 million, which ends up being 54.557 million shillings is what I ended up entirely paying for my car. And let's not forget the fact that my car sat in the port for 1 month, so they asked for $200 additional dollars. I was like, is this the life I'm living right now? But I mean, when you decide to do a DIY life, because you guys know, I also, if you watch my vlogs, and if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. It's all about life in Uganda and navigating, living, surviving, and thriving in this city. But I love a custom life. I don't want what everybody else wants. I want what I want. And I am very particular about what I like and what I want. So I'll explain also why I chose to import. But anywho, so for all of that, I ended up paying about 55 million, which ended up coming up to $14,000. So I was, or actually $14,896. So I was over budget by like $3,000. So I actually had to figure out very quick how to deal with this. And I'm now in a place in life, because I'm very stubborn, I don't want to ask family for help. I was like, no, I don't want to be that person. I'm a young adult. I'm a girl. I'm also just a girl, but I'm a young woman. I ended up getting a loan, which was amazing. I used Glow Trans. They deal with a lot of different people. They actually even deal with diasporans. This is not a plug to them, because I obviously paid for my loan, and they had to pay everything off, and they did not pay me for this, but I like them because their rate is 5% per year standard. I asked so many questions in the car when I was going through this process, because they really did get me out of this bind of having to pay for all of this within like 2 weeks. And they're wonderful. They're pretty quick. And the only thing is I had to keep going to their branch, which was by Kasubi Tombs, whatever area that is. So yeah, it was really funny. But 5% for the year. They deal with houses, cars, land, whatever it is that you need a loan for. They're amazing. Like I said, they deal with diasporans too. So I loved that. And 5%, that was less than Canada right now. Do you know how much the interest rate is there? How much people are paying for mortgages? I was like, take my money, or not take my, yeah, well, give me the loan so you can take my money. Anyway, turns out, worked out very well. It was a small amount, so thank God it wasn't a lot of money. I would not have done that. I would have probably said, take the car back to Japan. Take it. At this point, too, I was actually considering selling because I was so irritated. But it's okay. I was like, I'm over budget by a little bit. It's fine. We'll move. I've learned my lesson. I now know what to do in future moving forward. So for context, my car arrived in Mombasa April 2nd, and then I received my car in Kampala May 9th, simply because of all of the wahala back and forth of taxes. I don't want to pay this. Prove to me this is how much it is. Where does it even state this? And that's where my broker who was bringing the car in, it was hilarious because he has like all of this printed and he has access. So when we went to URA physically, because he went with me, he's like, I feel so bad for you. He was like, let me come with you. Like, you're so sweet, thank you. Talked with the guys and they're like, it's there on the website. Like, after like 5,000 tabs, how's anyone supposed to know that this exists? There's a calculator, but what if you don't have all the right letters, right? What if you buy the wrong thing? It was just very irritating. So mind you, got my car May 9th, super excited, very happy. came directly to me. Now, when it comes to car loans or just loans in general, they took the logbook of my car and then I got it back, which is great. So yeah, all ended up well. I just never expected to get a loan for a car. I was like, no, I would not do that. Now that I'm older, I just know how life works. And I was like, I would get a loan for an asset, not a liability. But life be lifing, and it's just like that. It is what it is. And then I had to like extend myself grace. And I was like, girl, you had a loan for your car in Canada and you paid it off. Anyway, I sold the car. But that's like the norm. Not many people just pay outright cash for a car. So I was like, it's a time to celebrate. Okay, celebrate, pat yourself on the back. You did it. It's cool. You've learned now, and now moving forward, you just get bigger and better, and you can focus on my other goals, financial goals and stuff moving forward. So I also, forgot to say with the arrival process, I had to put a tracker in the car, obviously for the loan company, but it was a good thing in hindsight because then I also have access to know where my car is. God forbid anything ever happens. Highly recommend. And it also decreases your insurance. So the last bit I want to talk about is car insurance. I did a video actually with Dean. I'll insert here. She is well versed in insurance and the world of insurance and investments and pretty much just a financial advisor for your life. She's really great. So she referred me to a car insurance companies because she doesn't specifically deal with car insurance, but she knows all the people and all the right people. So I got quotes for various different places and I ended up landing on Britam. They gave me a quote for 2.08. It was reduced also. I think it was like 2 point something else, but it reduced because of the car tracker. So I got down to 2.08 for the year, which this is for comprehensive insurance. I personally would never drive in this country. And this is no judgment to anybody else who does, but for me, I value my life, I value my limbs, and I value my pocket. I wouldn't move in this country without comprehensive insurance, simply because you can control yourself as much as you can and how you drive and all that fun stuff. But God forbid something happens to your car or to you, are you gonna pay that out of pocket? Because by the time you've paid 55 for a car, do you yourself, God forbid something happens and all you have is third party, are you gonna pay out of pocket however much millions to? No, that money needs to go into investments and in other things. No, not me. I'll pay the 2M flat, period. And I thought about it too when I first had to pay for insurance when I was in my early 20s, I think it was. And I remember I had a lot of speeding tickets when I was under my mom, and I understand why she kicked me off ASAP. The minute I graduated uni, she's like, get your own insurance, get off my insurance. I was like, but in hindsight, when I first started, I'm an impeccable driver, by the way. I just had many speeding tickets, but I was paying like 300 Canadian dollars a month for my car insurance. I hated it so much. I was like, oh my God, why? By the time I left Canada, I think I was paying like 100 and something. 2.08 million in hindsight is like a few months. And I'm like, just drop it, pay for the year. I'm now used to paying for things in lump sums. I don't want to pay monthly. Leave me alone. I think there is an option though. You can pay quarterly. I didn't ask. Like I said, I just wanted to drop it and pay. But I think you can pay quarterly. I don't think monthly, but I think quarterly and biannually. Please do your research on that. So my insurance ended up being every year, roughly around $700, I think that is. So not too bad, not too shabby. It was super quick, happened very easily. Just sent a few messages, filled out a form. They went and inspected it in person, though took many pictures, which is very good on both our parts. See the condition of the car, make sure all is well. Then they put my sticker on there and we're all good. Life is great. So the last thing I want to talk about is why I imported a car versus just buying one on the lot. So just for some background and history, this is the fourth or fifth car that I've had in my life. Like, I've had cars before. I've gone through cars, maintenance, insurance, payments, paying out, whatever. I've gone through it all. So personally, I found it more favorable to find a car that I actually would like and bring it in versus just seeing what's available on the lot and then being forced to buy what's there. What my value of my car from the lot was maybe like 62M, and then as you guys can see from this video, I paid about 55. So I wasn't saving. My headache of this process was about $2,000, just shy of $2,000. I love to call it my headache, the cost of my headache, because it really was a headache, But now that I know what I know now, won't be that complicated the next time around. So you watch my videos and my vlogs and know me for the last couple of years. If you don't, welcome. You should. Welcome to the tribe. But you'll know that I love a very custom life. I love what I like. I'm very particular. And when I find something I like, I want that thing. I don't want what everybody else has. I want what I want. If what I want is what everybody else has, cool. If it's not, I want what I want. So personally, I just liked that you have a whole plethora of options online. It just takes a bit longer with the auctioneers because, I mean, some months are dry, some months are better. They might have the model that you like, they may not. They might have the year, they may not. It just takes some time. So every day they'll be updating you, like I said, that the auctioneer was doing for me from Japan. So I opted to import because I could get what I wanted. And then also I had this mindset where, not even mindset, it's known, Japanese take care of their cars. Pristine condition. The condition my car came in. Beautiful. What it is now over the last few months, questionable. I don't know. I haven't looked under, but I'm so scared because of the potholes, the speed bumps. That makes zero sense in this country, by the way. My car is rather low, so it's a bit annoying. I do need to get tires to kind of raise it a little bit. But anyway, the conditioned Japanese keep they're like my spirit animals of how I take care of my things, myself, my life. That's just how they are. So the car came in mint condition. So I was like, I didn't understand paying even more for the same car, make, model, year here. And it's been driven around here for so long. And like I said, our potholes, our roads, our speed bumps, and all this construction they're doing on the roads that they tore up recently really does affect your car. So I wanted to be like the first to drive it here and not have to deal with maintenance and the wahala of having to fix a car and God knows what, just because it had been driven in Uganda for so long. So that's really just my bias of why I preferred to buy from Japan versus buying it from here. Yeah, to sum it all up. So yeah, I think that sums up everything that I wanted to mention in this video. If I forgot anything, I'll put it in the description bar below. I highly encourage you guys, please ask all your questions in the comment section down below. I'll answer all questions. I do want to have someone come on here who has lived abroad and has imported a car and knows all of the details about doing that, because that's tax-free for people who've lived abroad. You're moving back, or you've never lived here and you're moving. You could do that. Like I said earlier, I didn't opt for that simply because it's a lot already driving here and I didn't want to have my steering wheel on the other side, on the left. When we drive with the steering wheel on the right here. I didn't want that headache. Like I said, it's a lot driving here, but I'm so much better off than Ubers or whatever I was doing before. So yeah, I would love to interview someone on here who has all of those details. So please shout out anybody that you may know and let them know. I would love to bring them on. I think it would give a lot of helpful details. And for me, who also eventually I want to take advantage of my car that I can bring back. I wanted to bring back like a truck or something for all the future endeavors I have planned for my life here. So yeah, I just bring that on here for you guys to help me out in that. Other than that, I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this with anyone who might find this helpful, who's looking for a vehicle and wants more details on other options besides just buying it from the lot here. I know we don't like headaches here, and I understand why, because the headaches are bigger than most places, but you have other options. Explore the options. If they work out for you, cool. If they don't, buy it off the lot. Thank you guys again, and I will check you in my next video. Bye, guys.